Hey guys, this is Cody Jones with Angus Genetics LLC, and it's bull turnout week. Really excited about it. We turned a big bull out over here yesterday, and we've got this Angus Duke bull that we've kept out of our own herd, and out of a really awesome maternal cow. She's our oldest cow in our herd, and just been doing a great job, so we want to keep those genetics going. And anyway, I just thought I would share some experiences. If you're buying a new bull this season, it's kind of bull turnout season for a lot of folks. And if you're buying a new bull, or you're getting ready to turn out your bull, or you're new to farming and you need to get a bull, some things to think about. I pull my bulls. I had a bunch of January calves my first year. I turned out in April because that's what you do. I bought the bull, didn't want to keep him separate, turned him out. A bunch of January calves. It's a horrible experience. Never do it again. So I pull my bulls. A lot of people don't. That's fine. You got to figure out what works for you. But it is a lot less management, and a lot less risk that bull's going to run off and get bored. But for me, it was just it cost too much money and too much heartache to let my cows calve in January, February, maybe March. So I pull them out, and it seems like if you start pulling a bull that you've never pulled before, that can cause you some problems. They want to get back with those cows. So even these bulls get used to being pulled, but what I like to do is I like to pull them in with a bunch. So when I first came back to farming, I got sheep and goats, and I'm probably a little embarrassed to talk about it still, but I would ask questions about sheep and goats. Sometimes it would be about cattle, but they're questions that would have embarrassed me to ask about cattle then. I'd probably just ask you now, but there's a lot of pride in the cattle industry, and sometimes it's better just to share and talk about things. But anyway, one of the things I learned from sheep is that if you have less than 6 animals, they are such a prey animal that they are freaking out. I mean, they just don't have enough of a herd. They don't have enough eyes to ever settle down. And this is a generality. I mean, if you're hand feeding, or you got them up next to their house, or they're bonded to you, or, there's a lot of things that go into that. You got a guard dog, maybe that'll help, but some animals need more, some animals need less. And cattle are really the same way. They're not as near as as afraid as, in general, they're not nearly as afraid as sheep and goats. There's not a lot of things out here that are going to hurt a cow. But they're still a prey animal, and they get scared, and they get confused, and they like to have a few other animals around. And these bulls are the same way. A lot of people pull a bull, they put him off in a pasture by himself. And if you got good enough fences, I guess you could do that. I don't like doing it. Again, it's an animal welfare thing. These animals, they're herd animals. In nature, the buffalo, they would get a bachelor herd, and when they would leave the cow herd and they would go off, and all the males would just be out there doing their own thing. Deer do the same thing. In the off season, you'll see these bachelor herds. They get together, and once they get done breeding, their antlers fall off and they'll hang out. So how do we replicate that in nature? For me, I'll wean I'll usually wean when I pull my bulls in. I've kind of got set up that way. Sometimes it doesn't always work, but I'll wean a small batch, or pull in an animal that at least one animal they've been running with. That seems to settle them down a lot, even if it's a bred cow or something, an old cow or crippled cow, a hurt cow, whatever it is. Pull them in together and have at least 2 to 6 animals. Just makes a big difference. I'm not brave enough. I've been spending a lot of money on my bulls the last few years to turn my bulls back together. It's probably something, since I'm keeping my own, I might end up doing. You got to weigh that out. Bulls will fight, especially older bulls. So there's a big difference between a yearling bull, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, and once they get to 4 years old, they're just they're kind of king of the pasture. They know that, and especially if they're the dominant bull, you have to handle them like that, and you got to respect them more. Once a bull gets over 3-4 years old, you have to have some respect for them, and every individual is different. I've got a 4-year-old bull I could walk up to and scratch. The bull I had out here yesterday, he doesn't quite have that temperament. He's never given me any problems, but I probably wouldn't let my little kid walk through the pasture with him out there, just by himself. That's just a different thing. So what are the issues? My family's been in this business since 1949, in the Registered Angus business, and we've been selling bulls and females since 1949. What are the issues that I see most commonly with handling bulls? That's what I want to talk about in this video. So you go out and you pick a bull. If you go to a sale, it's a little bit more difficult. We sell private treaty right now. So when you come to ours, you know, you'll walk out into a pen full of 20. We usually sort off the bigger ones. People have a hard time picking one out of 25 or 50 bulls. I mean, you know, you could spend all day looking through bulls. So what we'll normally do is we'll sort off the best 6, the oldest 6, the ones that are ready to go, something like that. 6 seems to be a good number. We'll have the others out there. Usually you could look through them if you really want to, but we'll have the bigger, better ones sorted off. And normally somebody picks from one of those. We see them every day. We kind of know what, excuse me. We know what's better. We know what's the biggest. And we kind of, you know, we'll get a Cavanese bull and a little more growthy bull. Give you some options. When you come to our family at Jones Angus Farms, that's kind of what we do. And that seems to work pretty good for the customers and for us, as long as we have the time to be able to get there and sort them off beforehand. But you can look out and you can see the different temperaments. Sometimes, you know, a lot of times it'll be the cow that makes the difference, but sometimes a bull, if you see 2 or 3 bulls with the same color tags at our place that are, you know, a little bit more flighty, we really don't have too many disposition problems. We have some that are a little bit more like to be left alone. You know, every cow is different, but we really care about our temperament. But, you know, if something's standoffish a little bit, if you don't care about that, that's, you know, some people don't care. They're just going to turn out their bull, and it's not going to matter to them as long as they do a good job and they like how he looks and the calves that he throws. You know, a puppy dog bull, I'm a firm believer. I like a puppy dog disposition, but you can't treat a bull like a puppy dog. That is one thing. Keeping our own bulls, we kind of like to be able to touch them. Now, we can't do it to all of them, but we like to have that temperament. We like to throw it in the calves. We don't like anything high-headed. But the number one issue I see is with someone who buys a puppy dog bull from us is they will treat them like a puppy dog. They'll scratch him on their head. And I'm here to tell you there's only 2 reasons that a bull will ever touch another bull on the head. One's for fighting, the other one's for play fighting. And so, you know, especially carrying a bucket or something like that, a bull gets roughing on you. Those bulls, it's cute when they're 14 months. It's confusing when they're 18 months. It's dangerous when they get 2 and 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old. Those bulls, they are too big to be playing. Now you can watch my videos. I like to scratch cattle. I like gentle cattle. There's an appropriate way to do it, in my opinion. And then they're scratching them on the head, and you're just going to cause problems. You're going to have to sell that bull. You're going to make him mean or playful. And, you know, when they're 16 to 2,200 pounds, folks, that is a lot of power. And an animal that wants to play with you will hurt you just as bad as an animal that wants to kill you. And so I highly don't recommend that you scratch a bull on the head, especially, you know, a young bull that's puppy dog gentle. I don't hit them, but I will correct behavior if a bull comes up and I'm scratching him on the back of the neck or something and he's wanting to push on me with his nose on my leg or something. I don't stand for that. That's going to get somebody hurt, and I will I'll make them back up away from me because they've lost respect. So again, it's not as big a deal. It's not real scary. Sometimes it's cute when they're 700-800 pounds. When they're 16 to 1,800 pounds, it's dangerous. So those are things that you got to think about. And even if you're not going to keep them, you know, it's dangerous for the next guy. So scratch them on between the shoulder blades, scratch them on the butt. They like it just as much. They probably like it better. And you're not going to have to fight them. So other things, when you kick a bull out, if you find a bull you like, he's got the temperament you want, you kick him out. What do you expect? Now, what we all like to see is a bull that just goes out there and starts breeding cows. You know, he's working, he's good to go, and you don't have to worry about him too much. And that's the way 90% of them do it. Sometimes if you don't have cows bulling or something like that, they're just not ready, not in season yet or something, you kick a bull out, he's going to get pushed around and beat up a little bit. Remember, these cows have never met this bull, and it's you know, it's not like people, it's not like dating, but there is an adjustment period where we have a herd, and this is our group, and you're new, and you know, sometimes it takes a little while for that bull to get adjusted. So you know, you can try to push him to the cattle. Really, what I would do is I would just leave him alone. Cattle want to be with cattle. Keep an eye on him, drive by, make sure he's out there. Put an eyeball on him. Pretty soon he'll get in there, start breeding cows. Those cows want to be bred. He wants to breed them. Leave him alone. You know, so we have some people that'll buy our bull. They'll take him home. They'll want him to get used to him for a little while. That works good. Normally they put him with a companion animal, another older bull. Seems like you can mix younger bulls with older bulls and not have too many problems. They usually sort that out pretty quick. Two bulls of the same age are going to fight. Sometimes they'll fight more often. Sometimes one will be more dominant. They'll work it out. But two big bulls of the same age, they're going to fight pretty hard, especially when you first turn them out. So something to be thinking about. We have a lot of customers. They'll come buy a 14 to 15-month-old bull. They'll kick them out with an older bull. They work it out in a day or two, no problem. They're ready to go about a month later to work on some cows. So those are all different things to think about. Try to think anything else. If you get a bull that his temperament just completely changes, I've never really seen it here on this farm, but you know, sometimes people say, oh, he was just a completely different animal. I mean, you got to remember that they're going to a new home. They've been on a trailer ride. Let them settle in for a little while. Kind of leave them alone. They're not pets. They're cattle. Put them in with a buddy. Leave them alone. If you're graining them, give them a little grain, give them a little hay, let them get used to you before you turn them out with the cows. That's a good idea to do. I like it. I spend a little time with my bulls, just being around them, getting them used to me. But they're, you know, if you keep them for a week or two and they don't ever settle down, get rid of them. Don't keep that bull. You don't want that temperament in your cows. You don't want that bull out there getting bigger. You know, if you got to use them for a year and then get rid of them, whatever works. But these are all things to think about. But anyway, my bull tips. I've probably missed a bunch of things that I just haven't thought of. But if you guys have any questions or have some experiences you'd like to share, you know, be kind, but leave those in the comments. It's always interesting to learn from each other. This is an educational video. And so be patient with a new bull. Everything's new to them. Give them a few days to settle in, especially if something's weird. Keep an eye on them. Make sure they're not jumping fences or running off to new cows somewhere else. You know, but that's important too. They got to be where they're supposed to be. Don't turn them into a puppy dog. You can pet them and enjoy them, but don't pet them on the head. And then keep them with some other animals, even when you're pulling them in and out of the cows, or anytime you're working them, they're just more comfortable. And that's the three biggest things I could say on new bulls. But anyway, I hope this helps. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And it's one of my favorite times of year is bull turnout. It's just fun to watch them go to work, and they're pumped about it. So he's gonna get loaded on this trailer. We're gonna go take him to some new friends. So you guys have a good day. Like, subscribe, and follow for more.